night, Pittsburgh a 4-3 win over Washington. Goal number 20 for Sidney Crosby. The Calgary Flames moved back into a playoff spot in the West. A 3-1 win over New Jersey. And it was the first shutout for Andrew Hammond. Big win for the Sens, 3-0 in Anaheim. The word is in on Patrick Kane. He's out for the next 12 weeks with a broken clavicle. The playoffs begin in just 7 weeks from now. A sight that everybody wanted to see. New catch for Russell Martin catching R.A. Dickey's knuckleball yesterday. Jays open up spring training in exhibition form on Tuesday. NBA last night, Evan Garnett returns to Minnesota, and it was all Seawolves. They pound Washington 97-77, 19 for Andrew Wiggins. And NFL news, the Detroit Lions release running back Reggie Bush. You're listening to Home of Leafs Nation, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Brady, Andrew Walker. Mornings suddenly got more intense. This is Brady and Walker, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
NHL trade deadline fast approaching. It hits Monday. Good morning. It's 6:03. Brady and Walker, Sportsnet 590 Fan, didn't stop NHL GMs from making a few deals yesterday that includes Dave Nonis at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Daniel Winnick is now a Pittsburgh Penguin. So here's the deal. Winnick goes out. Coming back is a second-round pick next season, a fourth-round pick this season, and 26-year-old forward Zach Sill has played for Pittsburgh a bit this year, but is kind of a career minor leaguer. He was just a salary throw, and his contract expires at the end of the year. So I'll ask you, Greg, considering Daniel Winnick was basically a free $1.5 million off-season late signing, is this kind of the beginning of some pretty good asset management? Are you happy?
Yeah, that's value. I think it's value that's reasonable. I think we said from the get-go, Daniel Winnick won't get you a first-round pick. I felt like settling for a third-round pick would almost be too little if Winnick inflations to come back for slightly more money for a year or two. They will still need 13, 14 NHL forwards and 7 or 8 NHL defensemen to break camp with next year. That said, this might have been the plan all along. We talked about that a couple weeks after Randy Carlyle was let go and the losing started, and it became obvious that playoffs weren't the goal. And we heard, we read Cathal Kelly's scorched earth policy missive in the Globe and Mail, and we said maybe this was the order of the day from the get-go, is that players like Winnick, players like Santorelli were always going to be flipped. They were always going to be moved. And part of the plan was not necessarily in December, Andrew, being seemingly, for the time, safely 7-8 points in a playoff spot. The plan wasn't to go 10-1-1 in 12 games. Maybe this team exceeded management's, I don't even want to say hopes, but expectations to some extent. Either way, I know there's people that hold out hope, hey, we got something for Daniel Winnick, maybe he'll come back and re-sign next year. Again, that almost never happens. Sorry to burst your bubble. It almost never happens in any league, let alone the National Hockey League, where you're going to have Daniel Winnick and Mike Santorelli bang on the door with their agents on July 1 and go, hey, we're back. Well, it won't happen. And it never happens because I hate to break it to everybody, but this is what people expect. Next year, barring something very, very surprising, the Maple Leafs are not going to be a very good team next year. Even with Connor McDavid. That's kind of how these rebuilds work. Now, the challenge will be, because I think this is a great strategy to expedite the rebuilds. How do you do that? You get more picks, you add more prospects like the Leipzigs of the world, more second rounders, more fourth rounders, all that. Give yourself more chances. You're going to have to go and look to find not the David Clarksons of the world, but these value one-year deals. Like the David Booth thing didn't really work out. No one wants it. You're just going to have to see that contract expire. But the Danny Winnick and the Mike Santorelli stuff certainly worked out. Got a 3 and bad.
You're going to have to do that again. But it's not going to be with Winnick and Santorelli again. Just like it wasn't going to be with Mason Raymond again. Because those guys don't want to be traded a second time. That's the plan here.
So right now the Leafs they've got 7 players under contract for next year that we know are big clubbers. Kessel, Lupul, Clarkson, JVR, Bozak, Komarov, and Holland. Out of those 7, Lupul, there's that possibility he would be traded before the deadline, as you talked about on Monday. There was a lot of whispering about Tyler Bozak and the New York Rangers last night. That could be just tire kicking. They both have 3 more years of contract. They both have 3 more years. Some team might find, they say we can handle the term because we get the guy for a couple more seasons. But there's going to be, you nailed it, there's going to be new bodies on this team next year. Now, I'm not counting Kadri, because he's 8. They like Richard Panik enough, and I think they should. He's 9. But they're going to be foundation of a very different hockey club next year. And like you said, maybe not as talented as even the team that hits the ice with Dion Phaneuf back tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. Maybe that's not the idea.
The offseason is a different conversation, but ahead of Monday's deadline, can you see anybody else moving off this team? They're trying to trade Joffrey Lupul. But with 3 years left at 5.25, there's no guarantee they can do that. They're trying. But what about Tyler Bozak? The only other possibilities, I suppose, are Olli Jokinen and Corbin Holzman.
Here's the one thing about Bozak, and yes, he's been an oft-debated player for us. Kadri has at times too. If you deal Tyler Bozak today, the New York Rangers, to a team with space and wants, and to a team that has even Chicago that's got LTI, maybe their need necessarily isn't even up the middle. But if you deal Tyler Bozak, does the next narrative, does the next thought process among fans, media, whomever, get to be, this means Phil Kessel's Leaf career is coming to an end? And that's the narrative. Yeah, but I think that's silly. It was soon yet. And I don't think anybody thinks Kessel and Phaneuf are close to being dealt, near being dealt. I don't think there's smoke. I don't think there's fire. I don't think there's a match being lit before Monday. Teams aren't taking that term on, and they're not. There just isn't the space, and there just isn't the wherewithal to pull those players off your team and send them somewhere else. You'll get much better value for them when everybody calms down.